Welcome to our Good Friday at home gathering. Tonight we're going to reflect on the sacrifice that Jesus made through his death on the cross. And tonight will be super interactive. We're going to pray together, we're going to worship, and even have some video elements that will be both encouraging and inspiring for you or whoever's with you tonight. And we're going to use what is known as the Acts prayer model. This will be our guide as we go through the evening. And so the Acts prayer model starts with adoration and then goes to confession, thanksgiving, and then supplication. And so tonight we are going to first enter into a time of adoration. And this will be a time of worship and adoring who God is.
Great the chasm that lay between us, how high the mountain I could not climb. In desperation I turned to heaven and spoke your name into the night. Then through the darkness your loving kindness tore through the shadows of my soul. The work is finished, the end is written. Jesus Christ, my living hope. Who could imagine great a mercy? What heart could fathom such boundless grace? The God of ages stepped down from glory to wear my sin and bear my shame. The cross has spoken, I am forgiven. The King of Kings calls me his own. Beautiful Savior, I'm yours forever. Jesus Christ, my living hope. Hallelujah, praise the one who set me free.
Jesus and his disciples went to a garden called Gethsemane. Jesus prayed, "Father, if it is possible, take this suffering away from me, but only if it is part of your plan." While Jesus prayed, the disciples fell asleep. Jesus said, "Get up, it is almost time." Suddenly, Judas arrived with a large crowd. Judas betrayed Jesus by kissing him so the crowd would know who Jesus was. The crowd grabbed Jesus and arrested him.
Jesus was led to the high priest. The religious leaders were trying to find a reason to kill Jesus, but they could not. The high priest asked, "Are you the Messiah, the Son of God?" Jesus replied, "Yes, that's right." The high priest said, "He has spoken against God. He deserves to die." The religious leaders refused to believe that Jesus was God's son. In the morning, the religious leaders led Jesus to Pilate, the governor. "Are you the king of the Jews?" Pilate asked. "Yes, that's right," Jesus replied. "What should I do with Jesus?" Pilate asked the crowd. "Crucify him," they answered.
Pilate did not think Jesus had done anything wrong, but he handed Jesus over and said, "Do whatever you want." The governor's soldiers put a scarlet robe on Jesus. They made a crown of thorns and put it on his head. Then they mocked him. "Here is the King of the Jews." They beat Jesus and led him away to be killed. The soldiers nailed Jesus to a cross. They put a sign above his head that said, "This is Jesus of Nazareth, the King of the Jews." 2 criminals were crucified next to him.
Darkness covered the land. Jesus cried out, my God, why have you forsaken me?" Jesus shouted again, and then he died. Suddenly, the curtain in the temple sanctuary split in two from top to bottom, and there was an earthquake. One of the men guarding Jesus' body said, "This man really was God's son."
Jesus was buried in a tomb. A stone was sealed in the front of the tomb so that no one could steal Jesus' body. On the 3rd day, Mary Magdalene and the other Mary went to the tomb. Suddenly, there was an earthquake. An angel of the Lord rolled back the stone and sat on it. The guards were so afraid that they fainted. The angel spoke to the women, "Don't be afraid. I know you are looking for Jesus. He is not here. He has risen, just like he said he would." The women left the tomb quickly. They ran to tell the disciples the good news. Just then, Jesus greeted them. The women worshiped him. "Don't be afraid," Jesus told them. "Tell my followers to go to Galilee. They will see me there."
The death and resurrection of Jesus is the center of the gospel. We deserve to die because of our sin, but Jesus died in our place. Because Jesus is alive, we do not need to fear anything. Those who trust in Jesus have forgiveness and eternal life, and we can joyfully obey him.
One of the things I love about this time of year when we get to celebrate Easter is just being reminded that we don't have to be perfect. We don't have to do all these good things on our own because Jesus did it for us. Like, Easter's not about just getting all dressed up in our Sunday best and trying really, really hard to be a good person to impress other people. But instead, Easter's a time to be reminded that Jesus took on our sin and he gave us his goodness and his righteousness. And it's not about our works. It's actually about the works that Jesus did for us on our behalf. In 2 Corinthians 5:21, it says, "God made him who had no sin to be sin for us, so that in him we might become the righteousness of God." And that verse is telling us that even though Jesus was perfect and he was sinless, he never did anything wrong, he took our sin on his back and he bore it on the cross by dying for us. He took the punishment that we deserved. And in exchange, he gave us his righteousness and his goodness and his perfection, and he gives us eternal life. He gave us what we did not deserve, and he took on the punishment that we did deserve. And I love that we're able to be reminded that this time of year and celebrate that and just remember Jesus and reflect on him. And so at this time, we're going to show a video that basically just demonstrates how Jesus did for us what we can never do for ourselves, and we'll let that lead us into a time of Thanksgiving.
Your name is cursed, and my name is praised. But it wasn't always this way. The world was waiting for you, the prophesied one, the one Micah predicted in Bethlehem come. King David named you Lord 1,000 years before this day, which is why I find it odd that your name is cursed and my name is praised. You're the image bearer of Isaac, following his father. You're the one Isaiah saw as a lamb led to the slaughter. The psalmist called you a stone rejected by the builders, and Jeremiah knew you'd be betrayed for 30 coins of silver. So how did you not know that this would be the end? Did you not know your betrayer would be a friend? It's always a surprise who will backstab us. I should know, because your name is Jesus, and my name is Barabbas. Yes, I heard about you. You're that teacher the Pharisees despise. You tell the blind to go in peace right after you open their eyes. You command demons to come out. You heal the crippled and the deaf. The lepers shout your name. You told Lazarus to wake from death. But if you're so powerful, then why are you on that tree? Why am I the criminal on this hillside standing free? Why didn't you speak up? Where was all of heaven's dissent? We all know my name was guilty and your name innocent. Those should have been my chains. That should have been my robe. Now your name is crucify and my name is let him go. That was my flogging, my beating, my skin. But now your name is death row and my name is forgiven. That was my spit, my ridicule, my gasp, my worry. That was my Via Dolorosa and my burden that you carried. Those were my thorns. That was meant to be my crown. It should have been my blood that was dripping on the ground. Those were my nails, my wrists in wretched perforation. Those were my desperate lungs resisting suffocation. That was my punishment, my wrath, my justice on display. Do you see? My name is debt and your name is paid. Who are you, Jesus? To sacrifice for liars, for cheaters, for the rotten, for thieves. For a good man, one might die. But then, why would you die for me? Do you not see my anger, my wickedness and malice? I know your name is Jesus, but do you know my name's Barabbas? Are you a friend of sinners? Why invite me to your table? Do you know I was a murderer? I am Cain, you are Abel. Are you the Father run to meet me? Because I am prodigal, unworthy, my name is undeserving, but your name must be mercy. I'm Gomer, unfaithful, but you still call me bride. I am one who ran away. Your name is Leave the 99. My name is fatherless, abandoned. Your name is welcome home. In a world of dreadful kings, you're the king who left his throne. Do you not see? This is a scandal. How reckless could you be? That was my mocking you endured. That was my place on Calvary. That was my spear that stuck into your side. That was my sorrow, my grief, my suffering in your eyes. Years of my rebellion, years of condemnation. Who are you to hang there bearing my humiliation? That was my sin, my shame, my payment, my cost. You took what I deserved. Jesus, that was my cross. And even if I doubted, never followed you, you humbled yourself into death, followed through, taking up my cross, brutal and rugged, because your name is love, and my name is beloved.
I hear the Savior say, thy strength indeed is small. Child of weakness, watch and pray. Find in me thine all in all. Lord, now indeed I find thy power and thine alone. Jesus died my soul to save and melt my heart of stone. Jesus paid it all to him I owe. Sin had left a crimson stain, he washed it white as snow. And when before the throne I stand incomplete, Jesus died my soul to save, my lips shall still repeat. Jesus paid it all to him I owe. Sin had left a crimson stain, he washed it white as snow. Oh, praise the one who paid my debt.